Our top story tonight involves Environment Minister Josh Frydenberg, who last Thursday spoke out about the plight of Abbott's booby. It's a critically endangered species which breeds primarily on Christmas Island and... Please. Thank you. It's a critically endangered species that seems to stand a much better chance of survival than that other endangered Australian native, women in the Liberal Party. Because just 1 in 5 Liberal politicians are women, or, to be needlessly and grossly scientific, female. Unlike in the ALP, where after implementing quotas in 1994, 48% of federal Labor MPs are now women, although they still don't actually know who Bill Shorten is. Though the ALP still has a long way to go. While they used Jed Carney's election to boast about women in Parliament, we shouldn't forget that they did still pre-select David, I forgot to declare a $2 million investment property, left confidential briefing notes in a news studio and was a dual citizen Feeney before her. But despite this, the Liberals seem determined to avoid implementing any kind of quota, preferring to talk instead about setting a target. And their coalition partner, the Nationals, also have a target, although being a rural party, theirs is naturally a target country. But the Liberals' main argument for choosing a target over a quota is that there is no systemic bias against women and that the Liberals select all their candidates on merit. To which I would say, have you seen the men in the Liberal Party though? There's Eric, abortion causes breast cancer abets, Kevin, I'm hard for white refugees Andrews, and Ian, my last name is how all my sexual partners describe me good enough. Oh, and there was that time it took 3 of you to work out what a boom mic was. Honestly, the men in the Liberal Party is a conga line of cocks you wouldn't suck even if you thought it'd cure your cancer. You get the impression the current Liberal Party isn't following in the footsteps of Sir Robert Menzies so much as they are following in the footsteps of those guys that stand outside the family court yelling, "They made Aragorn's dick too small, probably, and you can't spell feminism without menism anyway." Honestly, the current cabinet is only a few people away from being able to sell photos of their meetings to Shutterstock to add to their collection of country music fans. Hello, young Liberals. And this aversion to quotas becomes even harder to understand when you consider how embedded quotas already are in our political system. For example, look at the Senate, and then immediately look away from the Senate because Pauline Hanson is probably saying something about Vietnam veterans not deserving a parade because she thinks they're all actually Vietnamese, but then look back at the Senate because you'll notice that every state has 12 senators and the territories have 2 because no one wants to force another 10 people to live in Canberra. But the principle is that a quota for each state ensures that the country isn't just run by the state with the most people, because the only people who benefit if Australia was run by New South Wales are rugby league fans and early investors in Bondi Burger. But no one complains, that doesn't need to exist, no one complains that Erica Betts is only a senator because of pro-Tasmanian quotas for the Senate, mainly because the concept of equal representation across the Federation is the only redeeming feature Eric has. Or, if you wanted to get angrier, look at the coalition cabinet, which, as Nationals MP John Williams helpfully explained late last year, has a, quote, quota of 5 Nationals MPs. So quotas for women? Nah. But quotas for good old country boys? Well, that's just good old-fashioned agrarian socialism. It's the Australian way. But then, even if you accept that quotas are a part of our system and that they get women into Parliament, Liberals argue that the women that become politicians won't be qualified. Okay, so first, if you're suggesting there is someone less qualified to be a politician than Bob Katter, I'm actually all for electing them just to see what they would do, right? Would they stand up to give their maiden speech but then fall over and punch themselves in the dick? But secondly, a quota isn't there to turn Parliament into Real Housewives of Melbourne. It's there to overcome the unconscious bias that means the Liberal Party is all for Malcolm Turnbull, but not so keen on Lucy. And sure, we all hope we won't need quotas forever because hopefully once people experience equality, they like it. You know, like when an old man discovers Thai food at the age of 63 and sure, it's great, he's excited, but we've been eating pad Thai for ages because we're not idiots, right? But given quotas have worked for the ALP and that change doesn't seem to be coming naturally, it might be time for the Liberals to just bite the bullet and introduce one. Because otherwise, the closest thing the Liberals have to a female leader is Abbott's booby. We'll be right back.